I am completely alone in this vast field. Welcome! This is something different. I have been playing around in this creative world and I thought, you know what? I want to do some building tricks. So, the new 1.17 update just came out and I thought, let me show you some interesting stuff you could do with the new blocks that have been added to the game. So, without further ado, let's go. So, the first thing I want to show you is this. This is a gradient made with some blocks we already know, like blackstone or some cobblestone, and some newer blocks, them being the new deep slate blocks, tuff, and of course calcite. And they just make such a great gradient. I can see what Mojang has been doing here. They really want us to work with gradients, and they slowly but surely add new blocks so that the gradient gets smoother and smoother, and I am all for it. Those gradients are a great way to make your buildings look more interesting, to make them pop, you know? And using them is a great way to mix up your block palette. So I really implore you, when you build a castle or something like that using gray blocks, please use gradients. It just looks so good. Oh, I sure love my deep slate. The new added deep slate blocks are probably my favorite new addition in the game. As you can see, you can use deep slate blocks really well for stuff like roads. I just threw some of these deep slate blocks together and build this little road. The textures of the new deep slate blocks are very versatile, as you can see over there, and they lended themselves well for builds like medieval castles, but I just chose to do a road. We have some variations of the deep slate blocks, them being cobbled deep slate, we have normal deep slate, we have deep slate tiles, deep slate bricks, and smooth deep slate, or polished deep slate, that's what it is. And I think there's a chiseled variant, but I don't have them on hand right now. But these new blocks, they're amazing, they look great. You also can get them in the wall variety, and they just work like any other wall. And here's an idea, using the new blocks for lighting. Using a deep slate tile wall, the new added lightning rod and a lantern, and we have a cool new way of lighting up your builds. So yeah, I'm really on board with this. This looks cool. And here we also have a nice way of using the new added calcite block. As you can see, I use the calcite block with quartz. Here we have calcite and the polished diorite, and together they work surprisingly well. I mean, look at this. This works well. It is like a marble road, you could say, with some dirty spots here and there, and it just looks cool. I like it. But without further ado, let's go to some building ideas. You can use some of the new stuff in a nice little urban kitchen, of course. As you can see in the walls over here, I used some calcite to break up the monotone white concrete texture. And on the table here we have a birthday cake with a happy birthday sign. For the sign, I of course used some of the new glow ink sack to make it pop. And I just love the addition of the candles. You can put candles on birthday cakes, and I mean, that's just delightful, isn't it? But that's not the only thing you can use candles for. I mean, candles look kinda like water bottles, don't they? I mean, a little bit. They look a little bit like water bottles. So here we have a chocolate milk bottle, or maybe Coca-Cola and milk. Yeah. It's you know, you need some fantasy. It's still Minecraft, you know. Here we have a go-to kitchen design of mine. We have a hopper and a cauldron. On them we have hit some lighting so that the whole thing is not too dark, especially if you're playing in survival. And here I have used the new glow item frames. That's what they are called, glow item frames, to make the items I put here in my kitchen pop even more. Yeah, I think that's kind of like a motto of this new update. Everything just kind of pops, doesn't it? It just pop. Pop. But yeah, here we go with a nice cozy kitchen and a birthday party over here with people eating pumpkin pies and cookies and carrots and salmon. I ran out of things for people to eat, so that's what I gotta live with. Next up, we have the bedroom, and man, I really like this place. It's just so cozy. I mean, it's just look at this. Look at me in my jumping on my bed. Yeah, it's not dark outside, so I cannot sleep in here. But this bedroom, I really like it. I have used some of the new additions, of course. We have some candles here as well. We have some of the new, flowering azalea, that's it. And I also used some of the flowering azalea leaves. And I also made use of a lot of deep slate. Up here, of course, deep slate is the roof of this room. I tried to make this room look a little bit darker, maybe a little bit gloomy, but also comfortable. And I think deep slate just really has that appearance. Over here we have the chiseled deep slate variant, so that you can take a look at it as well. And I just really like this room. Here's another tip: use glazed terracotta as your wallpapers. They just work so well for that. And those with good eyes may have already noticed it, but I also used another new 1.17 block in here somewhere. Can you spot where it is? That's right, it's right over here. A block of amethyst. I put them here behind the bookshelves just to make the whole thing a little bit more interesting for the eyes. And I really like them. So this is my design of a comfy bedroom with a nice, calming deep slate ceiling. Okay, now to the last room for today, and I gotta say, this is probably my favorite room I made for this video. Take a look at that. This is my take on a magic library science lab thing, I guess. And I just really wanted to use those clusters of amethyst. I thought they looked just too good not to use them. But I also used the block of amethyst. Maybe you can spot it. Yeah, that's right, I have hidden some of the blocks of amethysts down here beneath the carpets so that they can give us their beautiful sounds. Blocks of amethysts are pretty unique in their looks. I mean, it's hard to use them for just normal regular builds. I bet there are some builders out there who are better than me who can use the blocks of amethyst for some crazy new builds, but I thought I'm gonna use them sparingly and just use them for their acoustic background noise. Acoustic background noise? I'm just gonna use them for their ambient noise, that's what I wanted to say. And it just works so well. That makes this library really seem magic. I love it. For the floor we have some carpeting, underneath that we have some lighting, I think. Where did I hide some lighting? There's some lighting. Some lighting and some blocks of amethyst under the carpeting. I used some of these red mushroom blocks just to make it a little bit more interesting. And here's a nice tip. Using looms and ladders on your bookshelves make them look a little bit less clustered, and it breaks up the texture of the bookshelf. So yeah, use that. I wanted to make them look like one of those big libraries where you have to go up those ladders, maybe have these weird little what would you call that, little places you stand in to pick out your books, and it just works really well. The amethyst clusters are placed all over the place just to make it look like it's overgrown with crystals. And I also used some of the glow lichen, both for a little bit more light in here and because they look really good in this area. And you probably already saw it, the tables in here are made out of copper. Copper is a really cool block, and I personally think I have not done enough with copper for this video, but maybe something more in the future, I don't know. But this is a good start. Copper looks really nice with the red ground, with the red floor over here, because it's so green. And I put some books here, some brewing stands, because it wouldn't be a magic library without some brewing stands, am I right? And some more clusters of amethyst. And it's really nice. Oh, we have also another appearance of the glow item frames. Here with some Eyes of Ender, just to make it look a little bit more magical. And we have this amethyst, this crystal here. All in all, it's really nice. I really like this room. I probably will recreate this room in survival someday in the future. But man, it took me a while to think of this, but looking at it, it's just so cozy. I want to live here. That's great. By the way, the roof is made out of smithing tables. So let's say you have been making some new friends along your journeys. Maybe consider giving them a nice place to live. This is my take on an axolotl pond, and I think it's looking terrific. Okay, maybe I'm just praising myself a little bit too much, but this is really cozy. So let's just get rid of them. This place is nice. We have some of the axolotls here. Why are they all pink? Okay, there's one brown guy. Maybe I can get one of those rare blue ones. Maybe we get a blue one. Let's try it. Nope. My experiments did not yield a blue axolotl. Oh no. This is the greatest place on earth. Just no, they're poking me. They're poking me. Okay, that's enough of the axolotls. Let's take a look at the pond. I just dug a hole, filled it with some sand and some clay, and then went on to decorating the place. Specifically, I wanted to use the new big drip leaf and the flowering azalea, and they just work really well in a pond or in a swamp environment, you could say. Especially the small drip leaf really works well with the whole pond water feature shtick. I also put down some of the glow lichen just to make it feel like there's a little bit moss growing here until it really starts to grow hard with the moss over here. And I have to say, the new moss blocks are probably some of my favorite features, probably right after the deep slate, because the moss blocks lend themselves to hiding lighting underneath them without them just looking out of place together with the grass. And I think this is an adequate habitat for some of our new axolotl friends. And oh boy, there are many of them. And now to our last exhibit for this video. I of course wouldn't leave you in a building video without actually building a house, using some of the new tricks we have learned along the way. And this is the house that I built. As you can see, I used the deep slate roads here. I also incorporated some tuff into them, just as a ladder block, just to make it look a little bit more interesting. I also used our newfound love for lightning rods as a lighting element, or as a stand rather, for lanterns. We have some glow lichen over here just to make the house a little bit more illuminated. And I think one of my favorite tricks, the white concrete powder and calcite trick, so that the whole thing looks a little bit more weathered, you could say. All in all, I was going for a more weathered look, using vines and bushes and of course flowering azaleas, so that it seems like this house has not been cared for a while, or maybe an enthusiastic gardener is living here, I don't know. Oh, and one thing I noticed, lilacs and flowering azalea look really nice together. You can really use them well. Oh, and we have, of course, the moss trick. I think there's some lighting under some of these moss carpets, but I'm frankly too lazy to check. And if we take a look inside of our sweet little house, we can see that there's nothing. Yeah, I didn't put an interior in here. I just didn't know how to fill it, or rather I was lazy. But we have a deep slate roof. What was that sound? What on earth? I also tried to make a custom tree simply because I wanted to show you one last item that's really cool and really practical that came with this new update. That being the glowberries. The glowberries are really neat. Not only do they make beautiful vines that you can climb up on, no, they also glow and give off light so that your trees will never be in the dark again. Oh, and I put in some of those new flowering azalea leaves. I just really like those pink flowers, okay? Leave me alone. But yeah, that is it. These are some ideas you can use for your builds in the new 1.17 update. I hope you had fun and I hope you have been inspired to build some new interesting stuff in Minecraft. It's always fun to do new things, it's always fun to build new stuff. So I hope I'm gonna see you next time for whatever I'm gonna be doing next time. And until then, I'm gonna go to my happy place. That is just great. Oh, it poked me again. Okay, goodbye.